Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Quincy Chronicles. I'm your host, Simon Oma, and I'm here with Tiftifbee.
Hiya!
Hi. It's been a while since we've done one of these. We've been finishing up season 3 of Bleach.
Took us a while, but we got there.
We did. So, there's a few things to talk about in, the last few episodes we watched.
Yep. And a few bits we kind of missed out from last time. We can talk about today.
Yeah. Yeah, we can cover the last, 6 episodes or something we went through.
Yep. We got to see Renji speaking to his Zanpakuto, who I believe was voiced by Liam O'Brien for the first time.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we got through quite a bit with Renji. We got to see him fighting Byakuya and the past flashbacks with him and Izuru and Momo and Rukia and all that stuff.
It basically was asking him if he'd given up. Essentially giving him like a kick off the backside. It's like, get your butt out of his cell and reclaim who you are. Like a pep talk, I suppose. Obviously, Renji breaks out and he leaves behind his lieutenant badge.
Yeah, he goes to find Ichigo and finish training up his Bankai while Ichigo is doing his Bankai training with Sangetsu and Yoruichi.
And they're on a race against time because Ruki's executions got closer and closer.
It sure has. It's gonna be like the next day and they're all they're rushing against the clock now.
Renji eventually finds Byakuya and they have quite a pretty spectacular battle.
They do. Byakuya admitting that Renji's fang reached him at the end.
Renji is one hell of a stubborn man because he just refused to go down.
Oh, totally. Well, he does love Rukia, so you know.
They don't have a kid together at all. While this is all going on, once we get past the rescuing Rukia and Renji escaping, other mysteries are going on, such as all the orders from Central 46.
Yes, Toshiro decides to go check that area out, and he's met by a very bad murder room.
Several bodies have been discovered.
And the blood is super old.
That don't seem suspicious at all.
Nope.
Rangiku obviously goes with him as his lieutenant. And they end up firing Izuru again.
Yes, who ends up fighting Rangiku, and Izuru's fun. I like Izuru. We get to see what his Zanpakuto can do when he fights Rangiku.
Raise your head, Wabiske. I have to admit, Kira's Zanpakuto is probably one of the coolest looking ones, where it looks more like a hook than an actual sword.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
That does sound cool. So yeah, he makes things heavier when he cuts them.
Of course, Toshiro is reminded that he left Momo unguarded.
Yes, and while he's been away, Momo has found that someone wants to meet her.
Meets her, and he takes her to a surprise person.
Yes, who
Captain
should she
Aizen.
find but her old captain? He's alive.
Momo is. It was a lie. He didn't lie about the whole letter saying that he was looking for something. Of course, poor Momo is just overwhelmed with relief and breaks down crying and gives him a hug.
Yep, and the letter was actually his writing. It wasn't forged or anything. He really wrote it, but he just wanted to mess with her with the letter.
He thanks her and then cruelly says goodbye as he stabs her. Pretty brutally.
Yeah, that is brutal. Like, even I can feel that one. Like, oof.
In fact, it was so brutal when it first aired in Japan, they actually censored the blood and all that. You just see like this shadow where the sword and the blood was.
Oh,
It's
damn.
uncensored in the English version because I think Japan's laws means like too graphic violence has to be censored.
Damn. I can see that though. I mean, Danganronpa does the pink blood and all that for like the censorship thing, so.
Yeah. Poor Momo is left wondering why why he's done it. And she collapses. And Aizen's just being a cold son of a bitch.
And Toshiro is pissed when he comes back and finds them. Like, really pissed.
And calls out his own Bankai.
Yeah, but they're no match for Aizen.
Nope. He basically explains the story of how he met Momo and knew that she'd be perfect for him.
Yeah, we also have Unohana coming because she figured him out.
Unohana is the second longest serving of the captains, so she's not that stupid. I think she saw through what was going on, like, this isn't a body. I'm sure of it. And lo and behold, she isn't really all that phased when Aizen's shown to be alive. But even she's surprised when Aizen reveals that the body that they found was in fact Aizen's sword.
Since he can just make illusions of everything and make them believe what he wants with his hypnosis.
Complete hypnosis.
Yeah.
Which Isane mentions that he initially told everyone that his was a water type Zanpakuto. But of course, that was a lie too.
Yep, everything's a lie with him.
He was Kakiji before it was cool.
And Junko.
And Junko.
Since he doesn't care about, like, anything.
That being said, what is with him and the ominous lighting with his glasses? That's an Ishida thing, thank you very much.
I know, right? Like, don't steal the Ishida thing with the glasses. Like, come on.
Well, he kind of had Ryuken's hair.
He does a little bit. But yes, no glowy glasses for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Ishidas, when Isane is, like, giving the announcement of, like, Aizen's alive and all the stuff he's been doing, she also sends it out to the Ryoka. So Uryu and them hear it, and Uryu, like, explains to Ichigo the meaning behind all of that.
Because our boy is a smart boy, and he reads things.
Yes, and pointing out to Ichigo that Aizen wants Rukia dead, since he kept moving up the execution.
Speaking of Uryu, we got an adorable moment when he was in the cell and saw this tiny little butterfly flying in. He's like, oh, spring must be here. And Ganji was like, what's wrong with him? He snapped.
Cute. We also had him running around with Kenpachi for quite a while.
Probably wondering, I'm surrounded by psychos.
Yep.
And being nicknamed Pencil, of course.
Our poor boy.
Aizen then makes his way to the Sogyoku. And also manages to have Rukia and Renji teleported there.
Yeah, I don't know if he teleported them there per se. He probably just uses, like, illusions to make them, like, run back there or something.
It's possible.
So, you know, he can make, like, them see whatever he wants, so why not just have you run where he wants you to go?
He then explains that he had his eye on Renji, Momo, and Izuru from their days in the academy, and he realized that Izuru and Momo were perfect to be lieutenants for Gin and himself, but always saw Renji as the problem child.
Yeah, I think it was, like, back from the day when they had that, like, hollow mission in the world of the living and, like, Aizen saved their butts.
He didn't plan that deliberately at all.
No, he wasn't behind that.
Of course, he tells Renji to give him Rukia, and Renji's like, yeah, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, you'll have to pry her from my cold, dead hands. And Aizen's like, okay, you can hold on to her. I'm just keep her in your arms. I'll just destroy everything else and cut your arms off.
Wish granted, in other words.
Yep. Yes, I'll just, you know, detach your arms from everything else and kill you. It's fine. You can hold on to her.
It's also revealed that it wasn't just Gin who was working for Aizen, but a certain character that is a thorn in your side, Simon.
Yeah, let's not talk about him again.
Yeah, I know.
Instead, let's talk about Uryu analyzing Ichigo's fight when he was fighting Byakuya, since like they're all watching Ichigo's fighting when he was up at the Sogyoku.
And how sweet he was when he realized that Orihime wasn't going to leave Ichigo.
Yeah, and oh, Byakuya's fight with Ichigo is very pretty. Like, I love his Bankai.
Yeah, Zenbon Sakura is probably one of the most prettiest Bankai, I must admit.
Oh, it's beautiful, and it's a lot easier to see since it's like pink and stands out from like everybody else's.
I gotta say, it got a real glow up in Thousand Year Blood War.
Oh, totally.
And then he who shall not be named, who I despise in the Quincy, stole it from him and turned it purple. What the hell, man?
Yeah, let's not talk about him either.
No, not today. Not today. He can be a discussion for when we come up to Core 2 of
Indeed.
Blood War. But we also see how protective Byakuya is of Rukia.
Yeah, 'cause when
Aizen,
they're at the Sogyoku, he like defends her from Aizen, like when Aizen shows up later, right?
yeah, he orders Gin to kill Rukia, but Byakuya's like, yeah, that's not happening, and he takes the hit for her.
Yeah, that seemed pretty brutal.
He has a heart. He does care.
Yeah. Of course, with Uryu's warnings getting through to Ichigo and smacking some sense into him about what Aizen's after, Ichigo runs off to try and save Rukia himself again, and, well, he doesn't do
Does
too
not
well
go so
against
well.
Aizen either.
Yeah, you're not that strong yet, buddy.
Yeah, he just,
And
what,
also,
cuts Ichigo in half-ish? Almost.
Aizen is pretty dismissive in him in a sense. But he
Yeah.
also starts talking all kinds of stuff about him too. Like he knows about the hollow side of Ichigo.
Yes, and he tells Ichigo that everything Ichigo has done up to now has been all according to Aizen's plan, and he knew what they were doing all along.
It's almost as if he wasn't directly responsible for Ichigo having hollow powers.
I know.
Of course, that little story is revealed in Thousand Year Blood War.
Yeah, in the past arc that we talked about last time.
And several of the captains arrive to back him up. And a very pissed off Komamura is after Kaname because he demands answers, wondering why Kaname is betraying what his dear friend was trying to be a soul reaper for. He sees it as a slight.
Yeah, that. That's after Aizen explains about the Hogyoku and everything, and, you know, rips it out of Rukia's chest.
Yeah. Which he could have probably done from the start.
You'd think so.
Of course, he planned to have the Sogyoku as the means to kill Rukia and get the Hogyoku.
Yeah. But he does take it, and then he calls the Menos Grandes to, like, bail him out and escape from everybody.
Ino seems somewhat apologetic to Rangiku, who tried to stop him.
Yeah, I think Gin was sincere and meant it.
It's almost as if it wasn't a clue that he had ulterior motives
No.
from the beginning.
No, he doesn't have his own Kokichi agenda at all.
And Kaname proclaiming that he's only going along to serve justice. Sir, you have a problem. And once everybody's reeling from the incident, everybody starts getting healed. And Byakuya reveals something pretty surprising to Rukia. She's in fact his sister-in-law, not his adoptive sister.
Yeah, that's quite the reveal. We find out more about Byakuya and his family, and he had made a promise to his wife to look after her sister, but he also like promised his parents that he would uphold the law because they were very against his his choice in bringing peasants into the family.
I think it's kind of sweet that he didn't saw past his son's background and was like, I'm still marrying her regardless.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a certain doctor we know.
Indeed. So yeah, he promised to like uphold the law and never break another law again. So that's kind of been his like driving force in letting Rukia be executed, though he really didn't want her executed, I don't think. But
No, he didn't.
that was like why he was so for it and letting it happen and not really doing anything to stop it himself until like Ichigo gets some sense into him.
Gotta count on the Ryoka boy to smack some sense into the Soul Reaper nobles.
Yep. And he also gets annoyed when said Ryoka boy won't stop using his given name.
Yeah, we had an adorable moment when they're all getting ready to head back home. Renchi's trying to have a one-on-one talk with his captain, and all of a sudden, Ichigo busted and yells, Renchi!
Yes,
and
with
like, what the hell?
Yes, with Orihime, who somehow got up there too.
Either she has super athletic powers, or she's really Spider Girl.
Who knows?
Then again, there is a moment in, I think, the last season of the Ryuagin anime where she's able to scale down a pipe, much as Tatsuki and Ichigo Tora's like, get down from there!
Oh wow, okay. Speaking of cute scenes when they're, getting ready to head home and everything, Uryu and his sewing is so adorable because he makes clothes for everybody.
He made clothes for Orihime, getting her a new top with very cute lace detailing.
Chad, who wasn't too impressed by it because Uryu doesn't make men's clothing as well, I guess.
Hey, give our boy some credit. He at least got the colors right.
He did.
And plus the cross is his thing.
Yep. And he was so cute and enthusiastic about his sewing.
Someone should have gone like, okay, come on, let's go. You've talked enough about the clothes. Let's go pack up. Come on.
Which, of course, he's back in his Quincy whites, which is nice.
Yes, minus a glove, obviously.
Yes.
Which I'm surprised nobody realized that it was missing. It was like, where's that fancy glove you were wearing gone?
Yeah, that and how he's like one of the first to go down from ice and spiritual pressure. They should have like noticed that. Okay, what's wrong with Uryu? Why isn't he resisting this?
Yes. Chad was pretty much the only one out of decided Ichigo, and I believe Ganju was still up. But Chad was able to resist it, obviously because he's got quite a lot of strength. Orihime obviously went down because she's obviously got the weakest of the spiritual pressure because her powers are more to do with like healing / rejection. But Uryu Quincy should have been able to resist it like quickly because obviously Quincy's can handle the spiritual pressure in Soul Society.
Yes, because he can absorb. Quincy's like absorb spiritual pressure, so he should have been fine. But nope, he went down and nobody noticed or cared.
Poor guy.
Our poor boy.
Meanwhile, Rukia goes to visit the Shiba family.
Yes, then Uryu also made Rukia a very nice, pretty dress that Orihime wanted to get to her because she thinks he has a crush on her. And that's why she was running around with Ichigo trying to find Rukia when they barged in on Byakuya.
Oh, sweet, sweet little innocent Orihime. He does have a crush on somebody, but it's not Rukia.
Nope. Nope, he has a crush on someone else that he made clothes for.
Of course, Kikaku immediately recognizes who Rukia is because she was the one who brought Kyan's body home after having killed him.
Yes, and Rukia very what's the word?
Apologetic. She basically apologizes for what she did. And obviously Kikaku is rather accepting of it. She's like, stop. I know you did what you had to do. You've been carrying the guilt a lot longer than you like to admit.
Yeah, Kikaku accepted her apology, but then, Rukia keeps apologizing and Kikaku kind of just like gets her to stop. Yeah.
That doesn't make it seem like Ichigo at all.
No. Then Ichigo and Orihime find her and find out Ruki is gonna stay, and they get roped into dinner dinner at Kukaku's.
Also, can I point out that Orihime is a minor and is drinking sake? I'm not sure what the legal age limit for alcohol is in Japan, but I'm pretty sure that she's not the right age to be drinking that.
No, I think it's pretty high.
At least I hope it's not alcohol they were giving her.
Let's hope so.
We also saw Rangiku and Kira, Izuru having a talk. And then they get pretty smashed as well.
Yeah, don't leave Izuru alone with Rangiku.
Don't leave anyone with Rangiku alone, period, because she will get them drunk.
That's true.
Toshi was like, what happened here?
Yeah, no, he's dealing with his own thing when he visits Momo, so, you know, he needs some space too.
And then he's basically like that guy that comes into the pizza, sees things on fire and someone's on the ground. Just walks into chaos. We also got Ikaku fighting Ichigo before all this was going on. And then Kenpachi's like, fight me!
Fight me!
Ichigo's like, nope! I'm out of here! He just runs.
Yeah,
honest,
you know, poor Ichigo just spends the whole day running around trying to get away from Kenpachi, who tries to fight him.
And then they all head home. Rukia thanking Ichigo for helping her, but Ichigo replies that he should be the one thanking her. Amuses himself, but the rain has finally stopped.
Yes, indeed. And when they get back to Kisuke's, who, you know, they say like they know everything and all that, and Kisuke like kind of apologizes to them. They get back to Kisuke's and Uryu tries to, you know, he like goes off on his own saying that the next time they meet they will be enemies, and has Kisuke drop him off at, I guess, his home or where he's trying to go, because he can't use Hirin Kyaku anymore to go on his own.
Yeah. We also saw Ichigo questioning why Kisuke didn't tell him, asking if he was scared, and he just, exactly right!
Yep.
He punched in the face. You took it so well, you didn't have to punch me in the face.
But yeah, poor Uryu trying to, you know, keep his lost powers away from everybody, and nobody really noticing that there's something bothering him.
Either Uryu's not as subtle as we like to make him, as he likes to think he is, or the other is just observant as a brick.
Yeah, probably that one.
Somebody had to have realized that Uryu was not himself. I mean, hello, his glove is missing, for one. And he didn't have as much spiritual pressure as before. Someone's alarm bells had to start ringing.
Yeah, like at least Orihime's, who seems to pay the most attention to him. Which is probably why he has a crush on her.
True.
But I guess she was probably too focused on Ichigo.
True. Obviously, they all go their separate ways. And that brings us to the end of the Soul Society arc. And the end of season 3.
Yes, indeed. So we got through that, and we'll have a lot more Uryu next time with like the Mount arc and stuff.
That's going to be an interesting one to talk about, because there's a lot of controversy around it, because it wasn't really well received by the fans. What people seem to think or to realize that most of like these anime-only arcs were mostly written because Tai Kubo was probably A, still writing the manga, or B, taking hiatuses from writing the manga, because you do read about it that some mangakas do tend to have like rest periods, because writing/inking is a lot of hard work, and it does take a lot of strain on your muscles as well.
That's true. But yeah, like, I know it is like a, you know, it's an anime only arc. People don't really care for it. It's like the Bounce are like, you know, made for the anime and all that. They don't exist in the manga and stuff. But it's probably like the best Uryu arc besides like Thousand Year Blood War. So like, I don't know. I guess there's not enough Uryu fans to like the arc.
I actually enjoyed it.
I do too, but
Yep.
Uryu.
Yeah, true. But we'll get onto that when we actually get around to watching it, because I've got a few things to say about some of the characterizations of it.
Oh, totally, same. Yeah, we'll get there. We will get there for next time when we're watching the Bound arc. But as far as the Soul Society goes,
Oh boy, we got a few things to say about how that whole thing goes on.
Central
Most
46.
of all, oh yes, fire away when ready, Simon, because this is gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Central 46. There's supposed to be a legal system, judicial system, but they've got no like legal recourse.
Your legal system's bad, and you should feel bad.
Yeah, it's like such unilateral decisions. You like can't appeal their decisions, and yeah, they just execute people for mundane reasons or arrest them or whatever. There's just no appeal process or like reasoning with them or anything.
It makes you wonder if Eisen had the right idea in executing them,
Yeah,
because
probably.
that justice system is complete bullshit, if you ask me. I mean, what? They're like, what, over 1,000 years to develop legal laws? Why are you going to be all stuck in the stick in the mud about tradition? Which is kind of why I was so happy that when he became head captain, Shunsui was like, I don't see you guys making much choices, but here we are.
Yeah, at least Shunsui was able to stand up to them. Yamamoto, on the other hand, just, goes along with it. Like, is gonna, like, fight Shunsui and Jushiro for trying to, go against the stupid laws of executing Rukia that just they don't agree with, because she did nothing wrong.
Indeed.
But Yamamoto doesn't really care, and he's gonna, defend the stupid laws anyway. So at least Shunsui can like stand up to them and get what he wants.
Let's face it, we wouldn't have had such the epic battle of Unohana versus Zaraki if Shunsui was like, yeah, we don't have time to upload these traditions because the traditions are what got people killed.
Yeah, that and being able to like get the lieutenants he wants, which Shushu was able to like stand up to them to get no lieutenant that he wants as well. So after Kai and stuff.
Obviously, we know Rukia eventually becomes lieutenant, but it was quite a long time before he was ready to have a lieutenant.
Oh yeah, for sure. And of course we have how stubborn they were about like the Quincy's and not listening to Soken or any of that. It's just you can't reason with their legal system. Like what kind of legal system is that?
Yes, we saw how reasonable Soul Reapers can be. Look what happened with Yuhabaha and the guy who's in charge of Squad Zero.
Yeah, they say they have trials, but they don't. Like, come on.
No. Central 46 is pretty much judge, jury, and executioner at this point, which is stupid.
Yeah, and the no appeal process is just, like,
that is bullshit, if you ask me.
I know. I'm not a fan of the legal system in the Soul Society.
I love the Soul Reapers. Most of the Soul Reapers, I don't mind. But my God, the justice system, the judicial system is just so corrupt.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Eisen on getting rid of them.
At least do what I hate to have to do this comparison, but at least with the Supreme Court of the US, or any court in particular of the human world, there is at least room for appeals.
Yeah,
you can at least people in most countries have the right to voice their opinions and say, I'm not going to take this, and appeal for it.
Yeah, no, the Soul Society, they just make their judgment and then you get executed.
And it kind of makes you wonder how many innocent people have been killed because Central 46 already deemed them guilty.
Well, there was the whole thing with Nanao's family.
Yes.
Getting executed for not giving up a sword.
Which is a stupid reason to kill someone, if you ask me.
Yeah.
We also have a certain place in the Soul Society where the most dangerous criminals are kept. the nest of maggots, I think it's called.
Yeah, and then like the Mugen, is it? Like the
Yes, I think so.
under the Squad 1 barracks. Unohana and Kenpachi had their fight.
Also, not gonna lie, they gotta screen who they allow as captains more often, because some of the people that they allow work is like, why did you give that person the title of captain without screening them?
That's true. I mean, we have like Aizen, Gin, Kaname, like not the best captains, and we've got like even in the filler arc, the Gin's replacement was also not a good not a good choice.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
just wanted to kill Yamamoto.
And don't get me started on my Yuri. Ugh,
Well,
just
to
why?
be fair, he is probably a good captain as far as being a captain goes and his loyalty to the Soul Society.
But his morals. I'm just gonna say, what morals does he have? All he
None.
cares
He was
about.
an ex-criminal.
He's getting partially to blame for him to becoming a captain because he chose him to be a member of the research department. Surely he would have realized maybe he's not the ideal pick to be a captain, and put up like, hey, if something happens to me, don't make this guy my replacement.
Well, Kisuke wouldn't have chosen him as his replacement captain. They would have gone through the captain process when Kisuke was banished, like how Kisuke became captain, going through the process after Kiryu left.
Yes, that's
so
true.
That would have been Yamamoto and the other captain's decision who, backed Mayuri.
I'm just gonna say this. Which one of you guys chose Mayuri to be the replacement? So I can smack some sense into all of yours. Like, this guy is the worst example of a Soul Reaper I've ever seen. He doesn't care who or what he does to people to see what his research does to them, such as what he does to Uryu, what he did to Soken. He's cruel towards Nemu when we first meet him. Oh, I could go on, but
yeah.
there's a reason why Mayuri is my least favorite. He more annoys me because of how badly written he is. But at least he's not cruel to his lieutenant.
I feel you. He's like one of my least favorites too, but at least he's not as badly written as Kaname.
True. This is Kaname is your kryptonite. Mayuri is my kryptonite. Yeah. I could spend a whole video ranting about him, but I'm not going to.
The Soul Society arc.
We also see the evolution of the art style as well, especially in the earlier seasons. Ichigo was drawn a lot different than how he is nowadays. Also, that's an evolution of Kubo's art style, because Uryu also looked very different when he was first drawn. His face looked a little more rounder, I'd say, and maybe his eyes were less, were less sharper than they are now. Mind you have to think about it, the art manga first started in 2001, I think, and the anime didn't really start airing until 2003.
It's only been like 20 years since it started,
but,
so 2004, I would say.
Yeah, I think you might be right. That being said, is it a perfect season? No. Did I enjoy it? Yes.
Does it have the best moments for Uryu? Yes, it's got some of the best.
That being said, season 4 is going to be quite an interesting one.
Oh yes, because that also has very good moments for Uryu.
With that being said, I think I've pretty much said all I need to say for now.
Yeah, I think I'm good too. It was a good season. Like, I mean, I have nostalgia for it because I watched it back when it first aired. I did watch season 3 or a good chunk of it in the original Japanese back when it first aired because I was impatient waiting for the English dub, and watching the subtitles was very difficult, but it did teach me some Japanese.
Right.
So yeah, little fun fact there. That was like my first instance was watching subtitles, which I did watch through the end of season 3, back 20 years ago when I watched it. A little hard, but I managed, I think. So yeah, I have some experience with the Japanese version of Bleach.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then of course I watched the English dub when that came out as well for season 3 and for most of season 4. Like the Bound arc, that was kind of like where I stopped when I first watched it. A lot of
Aye.
waiting between seasons, kind of burnout, you know.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you know, I've watched it all now. It's nice going through it, knowing like more of the stuff we know. Like we see Ryukin in this season, and now we know more about him, so you kind of get more perspective there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think I'm good. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think I'm good at the moment.
Alrighty then. Well, next time we'll either do Core 2 Thousand Year Blood War or Season 4 of the original Bleach with like the Bound arc and stuff. So until then, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.